Whoa! Thomas bumped straight into Percy, and the bunting flew up into the air. Percy's freight cars came off the track, and so did Thomas. When he saw Thomas in the sidings, he took a big puff and blew as loud as he could. Thomas was cross. Percy saw Bertie the bus. He took another big puff and blew. Bertie skidded all over the road. "Percy!" he cried crossly. Percy took the biggest puff of all and blew. Trevor was so surprised his trailer bumped into a pile of logs. "Oh no!" cried Percy. "Oh no!" Luckily, no one was hurt. First, he shunted Thomas under the hopper. "Cinders and ashes," spluttered Thomas. "Look at me go!" Suddenly, Diesel's engine coughed. Then it started to splutter. Black, smelly smoke billowed from his exhaust. "I feel sick," wailed Diesel. Mavis started billowing smoke too. "So do I," she groaned. Soon all the other Diesels had broken down. Ari, Bert, and even Salty had ground to a halt. He tried his best to be gentle. But he shunted the dining car so hard everything flew into the air. There were more complaints than ever, but the troublesome trucks were naughtier than ever. They rocked and rolled and crashed and bashed. James's face was soon covered in soot. James had to put his brakes on with a jolt. Coal tumbled out of the troublesome trucks, landing on James. James was cross and biffed the troublesome trucks as hard as he could. More coal flew out. Now James didn't want to be seen. He was as dirty as he had ever been. Thomas went too fast and gave the coaches a mighty biff. The coaches rolled along the line and bumped into James. Soon be over, Thomas said to himself. And soon it was. The troublesome trucks hurtled into a siding. They biffed and bashed the bumpers. But the station was safe. Percy rounded the bend. The pipe slipped and fell all over the track, but Percy puffed on. The brake van passed Gordon, but the tar wagons didn't. "We can't go on," said his driver. Thomas pulled to a slow, sad stop by a signal box. And his driver went for help. It snowed and snowed. Thomas felt very cold and twice as miserable. This made Emily very cross, and she biffed them very hard. "Oh no!" they cried, and they splashed into the duck pond. Emily was covered in a flowery mess. Then there was trouble. Rocks fell and blocked the line. "Oh no!" Emily had to wait for help. Suddenly, there was a loud noise, and James ground to a halt. "I will have to go and call for help," said his driver. But when Percy backed up to collect his coaches, he bumped them very hard. "No, no, no! You need to puff smoothly." Everyone watched as he puffed into a big pile of snow. "Yuck!" coughed Gordon. A big cloud of stone dust whooshed down and landed right on top of Thomas. Yuck! Suddenly he bumped into a freight car. The freight car rolled into a lever, and then there was a whooshing sound. "Oh no!" James puffed. Coal poured out everywhere. It poured onto the tracks and all over Gordon, James, and Emily. Just then, Gordon blew to clean his funnel. Coal dust shot into the air. It covered Sir Topham Hatt and the railway inspector. "Sorry," coughed Gordon. Then there was trouble. With a horrible creak and a terrible crack, Thomas's traction rods broke. Thomas stopped with a jolt. Suddenly, it was very quiet. The eggs started to bounce in their boxes. Then Thomas changed lines. It caused a big bump. The eggs were breaking. Thomas came to a junction. The trucks wiggled and they giggled. And they made Thomas's journey very bumpy. And some of the fish were shaken loose. "Yuck!" Thomas gasped. "I wish I'd taken fewer freight cars." Thomas braked as hard as he could. But the freight cars of fish were too heavy. "Oops," said Thomas. Trees were blown down. A water tower fell over. And the roof blew right off Farmer McColl's barn. Suddenly, a great whoosh of sparks lit up the shed. "Bust my buffers!" cried Emily. Emily was scared. She didn't notice the huge white tarp. It fell, covering her from funnel to footplate. "The ghost! It's got me!" "I have to hurry," puffed Thomas. He heaved, he huffed, and he puffed, and he heaved so hard. The coupling broke. Thomas shot forward. Cocoa powder flew everywhere. "Now I'll never get to take the children,"